It started with Park Yeong Han, in his retirement, lived a quiet and simple life. Today, he stopped by to buy some rice cake snacks to visit his grandson at the police station. As he arrived, it coincided with him having to go out and catch a criminal. He thought back to his past stories, the many cases where he and his team worked together to keep the country peaceful in the post-war era. Let's go back to his prime days when he was young and handsome. In the year 1958, Park Yeong Han was a renowned detective. He was so famous that he made the front page of the local newspaper, with his nickname, the Detective from the Underworld. He was stationed in the town of Hwangchun. Who would believe that in this rural town, the #1 crime occurring almost daily was cow theft? While in the market, he saw a well-dressed man selling a cow and entering the gambling den. Yeong Han tried to follow him in but was blocked at first. He showed that he had money and paid the entrance fee. He intended to play at the same table as the cow-selling man. Dressed shabbily like a beggar with an unbearable stench, those guys didn't stay on guard. He was suspicious why the cow seller dressed so cleanly and nicely. A cowman should be covered in dirt and mud, unless he had underlings steal the cows for him. Noticing the rope burn marks on their hands was also telling. He took off his hat, and they recognized him from the newspaper front page. They ran away into the fields, but karma pursued like a rocket. The cow thief was kicked in the balls by a cow, immobilized, and finally got caught. This cow thief case was the 96th he successfully closed this year. His outstanding work in catching thieves led to the Seoul City Police Office, calling him in to help with the case. He was excited for his first time in the capital city. His chief officer was Yoo Dae-cheon from Team 1. Chief knew Yeong Han from the newspapers constantly covering him. During lunch, he asked if Yeong Han knew why there was always an open position at the Jeonnam police station. Yeong Han seemed amazed, but his chief just said he would find out soon enough why catching gangsters here makes life a nightmare. Then Mr. Oh, who runs a fabric store, walked in and asked Chief Yoo for justice, as he got beaten by men from the Dongdaemun gang, under the boss named Salmosa. Yeong Han volunteered to go catch him alone, but his boss warned him there were 30 of them. While planning his attack, he walked past a snake soup shop and got an idea. At the gathering of the Dongdaemun gang, Salmosa's right-hand man announced they were now successfully in charge of the Jeonnam market. While celebrating, Yeong Han got in and ruined the party to catch the boss for assault. He told Salmosa to make life easy and handcuff himself. Of course, they thought Yeong Han was joking, so he pulled a snake out of his bag, and everyone freaked out. Salmosa decided to handcuff himself and asked Yeong Han to put the snake back. But while they were leaving, he accidentally ripped his bag, releasing 30 snakes and causing chaos. Salmosa confessed directly that he beat up the store owner because he didn't pay gangsters' fees. The superior officer then rushed in and ordered Salmosa's release, as in reality, many police took bribes from Lee Jong-jae, the big boss of all gangsters who had now turned into a politician. Yeong Han was disappointed that the police were helping the criminals, but Chief Yoo dragged him outside and explained that this was the nightmare that good cops had to face in Seoul. After Salmosa was released, the snake soup shop was demolished by the Dongdaemun gang. Yeong Han came to help but only found the shop's ruins. He was disappointed when the locals told him the police and gangsters were always on the same side. Now he was aware of why the gangsters kept expanding. Because the police had been aiding them all along. That evening, Chief Yoo was asked to deliver a confidential letter to another town. As for Yeong Han, he was suddenly ordered by Chief Byun from Team 2 to help organize a huge pile of documents. Chief Yoo told him they must be up to something behind the scenes. But he had to travel to another town, so he instructed Yeong Han to be cautious and monitor the situation closely. While going through the documents, he heard snoring coming from the cabinet. Detective Kim Sang-soon, aka the Mad Dog, had sneaked into sleep. He was a relentless detective who would risk his life to catch criminals. The reason he was called Mad Dog was because he literally bit criminals, and some said he even bit actual dogs. Yeong Han watched until the end of his shift, and one of the young police acted suspiciously. So he threatened him to tell the truth, or he would put his head into the crapper, which in the end he really did. And he learned that all the police went out to help with smuggling operations led by Lee Jong-bum, the relative of the big boss Lee Jong-jae. He then woke up Sang-soon to partner with him and go catch the smugglers. They were smuggling goods from the American military camp. Sang-soon thought they were outnumbered and wanted to retreat, but Yeong Han decided to attack immediately. They seized the smuggled goods and bribed money paid to the police. He ordered the goods loaded onto the truck, but afterwards Sang-soon hit and knocked him out and asked how much he could keep for himself. But then Sang-soon got knocked out too. In the morning when they woke up, Sang-soon explained he had saved Yeong Han's life, as American soldiers had their guns aimed at his head. They failed to catch anyone, so they secretly put up notices saying there were free American goods being given away at the warehouse. People excitedly went to haul away the free goods, causing great damage to Lee Jong-jae's business. So they planned a deal with Yeong Han. In the middle of the night, Salmosa's men tracked him down, but he realized and tried to flee. He came to ask the bookstore owner for help. Luckily, she had a secret underground room he could hide in. He survived despite some bleeding on his head. The next morning, he asked Chief Yu to allow recruiting capable new team members. He volunteered to do it himself. The first person he thought of was Sang-soon, because they had similar personalities, disliking gangsters and injustice. Sang-soon had no problem joining, but with one condition: he wanted to keep being able to bite criminals. Yeong Han was desperate, so he agreed. But they still didn't have enough manpower to take on the Dongdaemun gang. He decided to go to the market to meet rice seller Cho Kyung-hwan. He was huge and strong, able to take down 10 of Dongdaemun's men single-handedly. At first he wasn't interested, because in the eyes of the locals, cops were just crooks collaborating with gangsters to extort people. How many good cops were there like the one who released snakes to fight criminals? Yeong Han and Sang-soon grinned proudly and said that crazy cop was him. Kyung-hwan got excited and agreed to work with them. But before becoming a cop, he had to pass several selection stages, where the main stage was choosing between testing his intelligence or physical strength. Naturally, he chose the strength test and easily defeated 3 opponents. But there was another interesting applicant during the tests. Sor Ho-jong, who happened to be at the same bookstore Yeong Han hid in. He was a Hanju University graduate, one of the most renowned universities in the era. He defied his father's wishes and applied to be a cop to pursue his dream. With straight A's, he easily passed the selection process and was assigned to the Jeonnam police station. Meanwhile, the police arrested an American smuggling illegal dynamite. They needed a translator, so the director had the knowledgeable Ho-jong assist. During the conversation, the man asked to smoke a cigarette and managed to snatch Ho-jong's lighter. He lit the dynamite to threaten the cops. Ho-jong grabbed it and threw it out the window. But it turned out to explode the director's car. Everyone blamed him and made him polish boots as punishment. Later, there was a brawl at a restaurant between American and Korean soldiers. Chief Yu had Team 1 go assess the situation. Yeong Han requested Ho-jong come along to help as a translator, better than continuing to polish boots. When they arrived, they saw the soldiers pointing guns at each other in a standoff. Sang-soon recognized the American soldiers as the same group from the smuggling warehouse. Ho-jong had read old case files and devised an arrest plan. First, he would pretend to be a chef to draw their attention. When they weren't vigilant, everyone would ambush simultaneously. He grappled to prevent the soldiers from reaching their guns. Before things got out of hand, Korean soldier managed to stop everyone. Afterwards, the American military police came and apprehended the bad guys. Ho Jong admitted he had never actually read case files before, just came up with that strategy on the spot. Yeong Han was impressed by his wit and asked him to join Team 1, at least better than polishing boots.